Hello, hello, guys. It is Thursday. I am so excited to have you here. Let me get everything open and moving and going, and let's see if anybody's going to join on Zoom today. I know we are reaching the end of the week, and some of you are like, woo, this is a lot of information, but hang in there, okay? It comes full circle, so it helps you out in every which way. But what I would love to do, I'd love to see who is caught up. Who is caught up with all of the days from the week that we have had to come together to learn about nutrition, the benefits of nutrition, ingredients, just reading those labels, hidden ingredients, cross-reactive factors. We have really just had a power punch week, okay? Let me know if you're in the Facebook group and you're watching this as a replay. You can put questions in the comment section and I will get back to those as at any point that you watch this. I'm watching those comments. Just love your feedback. I've seen some comments and some struggles that I'm actually going to use as examples today. And I want to go through and kind of backtrack and bring everything full circle, but also talk about the path moving forward. So I really like to talk, so today, let me just tell you what we're going to talk about. We are going to talk about intuitive eating, mindful eating, and stress management around food and nutrition. This is so important, okay? If we do not create daily habits, and let me just say, we'll even take a step back from that. Your daily action, your daily thought process is what is going to create habits, okay? I have seen comments in this group of people who know that they cannot eat a wide array of food, okay? People who cannot eat any FODMAPs, people who cannot eat any nightshades, people who cannot eat like a long list of vegetables. And some of those were, highly related to lectin. Some are just harder on the body to digest. And, and my question with that is we need to start asking those questions. Why? Like really continuing to dig and get down to the root. But the one thing that we can focus on today is that you're so blessed to have that knowledge so you're not constantly being reacted. Your body's not in this reactive state. When it is in a reactive state, okay, your body's under stress, all right? So let me kind of talk to you about this. If a child is coming home, who all here has had teenagers? If you have not had a teenager in your home, think about you being a teenager and how annoying you may have thought your parent was. Or think about your spouse or anybody, a roommate, okay? Think about someone in your home coming in every day in a bad mood, just very, disrespectful, very moody. The first day you're like, oh, wow, I'm sorry. Like they're having a really bad day. The second day you're like, what is going on? And the third day you may silently have had enough, but that fourth day, it's like, okay, I've had it. I'm going to verbally like attack you. No, I'm going, just like, I'm going to tell you, like, now it's time for me to let you know, like, I have had enough. Okay, now take that in your body. Now, your body does not really have the ability to verbally scream back at you, but what are your warning signs already? How is it screaming back at you? Is it screaming back to you in the form of skin reactions? Is it screaming back to you in the form of gas and bloating and diarrhea or constipation or not sleeping well or hormone imbalance? Like, how is your body screaming back at you? These are this is the way your body talks to you, right? Like these are those warning signs, because it can't say, hey, Jennifer, I have had enough. You've been giving me foods now for 3 or 4 days and I'm triggered. And I will tell you, my kids run a very active ship well, let me just say that we run their very active ship. And when I'm driving their ship on the weekends, it means that we are out of town a lot of times. So when we are out of town, I know a few weeks ago, my daughter and I went to Atlanta. And while we were there, it was just the two of us. So it was easier for us to navigate some healthy choices, but it still wasn't eating at home. And it's never going to be eating at home. Now, some of you have made a comment like you can't eat out at all. And yesterday we focused on how to navigate eating out, because that was something that the community here had requested. And I started that out by saying, you're never going to eat out at home. Eat out as safe as you can eat at home, because you don't know what underlying seasonings there are. And in those seasonings, there's maltodextrin, which is typically derived from mold or corn. And that corn is a huge grain that cross-reacts with a lot of other sensitivities. It's also it affects the brain. It's a it's a dysregulation of our brain. It can really help affect our mood. Sorry, I'm kind of going totally where my thought process is. I'm just letting them flow for a minute. I'm getting tongue-tied. But it's important for you to know that there's always going to be something in those foods eating out. They're not going to use organic vinegar, even if you're just eating sushi and you're trying to avoid those cross-reactive factors and you feel like you're eating really clean. But they are not going to use the same quality of ingredients that you use at home. But even those that have made that statement of, I can't eat out at all, either you've gotten in a place to where that day-to-day eating at home created a habit to where it's not stressful. And I commend you completely. We went about, 2 years, honestly, in that stage, maybe a year, I'm trying to think, but of not being able to eat out at all. Okay. And we really have just over probably the last little bit opened that door even more, to have more leniency over with one of my children. But I will tell you, there's health consequences. Okay. I can tell when we, don't eat right, that sleep is not the same, hormones are not the same. And I can even see this in our children. Okay. So mindful eating. While I have mentioned hormones, let me just say, I have talked through this week about histamines, about mast cell activation syndrome. And if you are prone in those areas, then you also need to be aware of especially if you're a female, but also men. Men have hormones too, guys, and it really affects their sleep. Okay, it really affects their sleep. It affects their sleep, how frequent they urinate. If you think about a man with, they always blame the prostate, but Lord have mercy, it's not just the prostate, it is the prostaglandin hormone that triggers that frequent urination, especially in older ages, okay, as those hormones start to really deplenish. But let me just back up to women, because I know I've got a ton of women here. So at times in your cycle when estrogen levels are high, you are going to need to be more aware of histamines, foods that are higher in histamines, and foods that help your body produce DAO to combat histamines. Okay, that's why I love the holistic approach. And that is what my program is formed around, is to be able to bring this insightfulness into your body, to you and your body, this awareness of what's going on, so you can have this mindful and intuitive eating. All right, totally off script for a little while. I've gotten like bullet points here because I know I don't ever speak to like sentences, but I will tell you, I love idea of just being in the spirit of however you're eating, whether it's eating at home all the time, whether it's, navigating some eating out, just having this okay about this is your decision, this is the habit for today. But if you want to change that and have more eating at home, habits, then you need to put that in place day to day. So with mindful eating and intuitive eating, it helps our body relieve stress. Okay. It helps us walk into the situation saying, I have made this decision. This is what we are going to do. And what I usually recommend for my clients, because it works very well for me, is to say, I can do anything for 2 weeks. All right. And then in 2 weeks, I'm going to reevaluate this process. But I try to make my mind up for 2 weeks, because I don't grocery shop for a week very well with no residual groceries. So 2 weeks allows me to kind of get things in and through my house as far as groceries go. Meal plans can kind of fluctuate over that 2 weeks. And it allows for us to have some flexibility in our schedule, right? Okay, so I can do anything for 2 weeks, and at 2 weeks, let's reevaluate. All right, so during that mindful eating process, if you are not able to eat out at all, I also want you to be mindful of what your body is really screaming and telling you, okay, what's manageable. And if you have a long list of foods that you need to avoid, I really encourage you to look at, again, those larger food groups, like, do I need to empty my bucket? Okay. And when I think about the bucket, I'm thinking, because just like a sand bucket, you can put rocks in, you can put dirt in, you can put some leaves. Think about this Mississippi mud pie that you're creating in this bucket. And then you get the water hose, and a little bit of water makes that entire bucket spew over, okay? But the little bit of water that's in there is not the largest in quantity, but it was what made the bucket spew over, okay? So you can have antibiotics and chemicals and toxins and a leaky gut, and you can have cellular damage, you can have hormone imbalances, you can have all this stuff in your bucket. But when you eat, your bucket is spilling over, okay? And this is why I chose to go into nutrition, because you have to eat 3 meals a day, and we need to be able to eat with a mindful, intuitive spirit that relieves stress through our day-to-day, or else our health is going to continue to just spiral spin. I mean, part of the number one thing with our wellness journey is we need to be focused on stress. So we're going to talk about that some today as well. But mindful eating is one of the core principles of eating without distractions, have a peaceful time of just sitting and eating. If there's stress in your family, try not to bring that to the dinner table. All of those wonderful habits that we've been told. Okay, so I want you to think about your food. I want you to chew your food. I want you to savor the bites during this process that goes on here before the food ever travels into the stomach. This is where our enzymes start to produce in our body. Okay, so this mindful eating is honestly something that we hear a lot these days, because people are, it's part of, I guess, their marketing campaign, and what we hear on social media. But honestly, guys, God made this. It made it to where when we start with the thought process, honestly, when we smell it, okay, when we start to smell something good, you start to smell that apple pie that your grandmother makes, your saliva starts to produce. Okay, so those of you that have done a hormone test with me, I've told you, if you like coffee, brew your coffee, smell it, let the saliva start to produce, and then you can spit in those tubes, right? So we can collect your saliva for the hormone test. Then when we're collecting the saliva and when it's starting to produce digestive enzymes, if you are having trouble breaking down food, we have to focus on digestive enzymes, leaky gut, and really repairing the pH, the balance, looking at overall toxicity. If you are responding negatively to a lot of foods, most likely there is some toxicity built up in your body. And every time something toxic comes in, there is an explosion because your immune system is in overfire. But this mindful eating also not only improves digestion, but it prevents overeating and it enhances the food satisfaction. So you may be coming into this going, oh my God, I have always eaten chicken fingers and French fries. The slower process also allows you to enjoy the crunch, enjoy the moisture of, fruits and vegetables, and really let it hydrate your body, let it nourish your body, and love to savor those processes. Okay. The longer it takes you to eat also helps your body tune into hunger and fullness cues. If you gobble your food down, you can just eat so much more. So let's start to manage those habits and have an awareness around having those healthier habits in our day-to-day. Okay. So let's talk about the stress management part of it. So we want to really the stress, when I talk about, we talked about someone coming in day to day and overstressing our body. This includes digestion and immune function both. Okay. There is a huge connection between stress and autoimmune conditions, specifically mast cell activation. I told you, I think earlier in the week, that when we were going to doctors, actually, no, this was during a client conversation earlier this week. But when we were going to doctors with my son, typically one of the first questions they would ask us is, has he ever had a concussion? Because that brain trauma can really enhance an autoimmune condition. And if there's an underlying autoimmune condition, these inflammatory responses in our body due to stress can enhance this autoimmune condition and really bring it to the surface. And then we're like, oh my gosh, how did we get here? Okay, so stress reduction, as elementary as it sounds, you're like, oh yeah, everybody's telling me to de-stress. But even if you live with those 3 teenagers right now and you can't escape the day-to-day, there are times that you can, even in the car, like practice deep breathing exercises. Okay. So we have a habit right now, and that our society is, used to, we just breathe, we just breathe to survive, but really opening our lungs, filling our bodies, filling the cells with oxygen is not a habit that we embark on anymore. We just don't make that a habit. And some of it may be I know I love talking about religion, and meditation and yoga has gotten, good connotation, bad connotation, y'all. It is all about just quieting your mind. Okay. You don't have to label it. You don't have to call it anything, but, and even in a religious type setting, they've always said, you're not going to hear God talk as long as you're talking. You've got to quiet your mind. So quiet your mind, relax in the moment, and take that deep breath and just honestly come out of it with comments of affirmation of, I've got this. I can do this. I can do anything for 2 weeks. Okay. Those of you that are in the program and you tested positive for candida or an overgrowth of bacteria or leaky gut, and we are combating that, you may be taking a couple of supplements now when you're not used to taking any. And, and it's just like, oh, I've got to remember this now. You got this. Okay. You have got this. You can move forward. It is not, we're not stopping. We are going to keep catapulting forward. And this too is temporary. You can keep telling yourself that, because your body is going to heal. And that's what I want for each and every one of you, to quiet those immune responses, quiet the reactions, heal your body. And because even yesterday I told you, I'm not advocating that you eat out on a regular basis, but I am advocating that you have a stress-free relationship around food. Okay. That is so key. That is so important. And then having the importance and the ability to find ways to eat stress-free, that resonate with you as a person, okay? That individual stress management. It is not your friends. It is not for me. It is not for anyone to judge, but for you, okay? Now, time management can be one of those things where you've got to set priorities. I know if I derail and I don't make grocery shopping a priority, then obviously we don't have food. And once we get groceries home, that's just the start of it. We've got to prep some groceries, right? I will tell you, if I buy celery and don't prep it, it's not going to be eaten. It is going to sit in my refrigerator, turn to absolute mush, turn brown, turn whatever, until somebody throws it away, right? If I buy celery though, and I wash it and cut it in little strips, and then in the afternoons, put those strips on plate and put some nut butter and with some dairy-free chocolate chips on top, my family will fight over it. I am not kidding. Like, it is just that prep. How many times have you gone to a barbecue, a football game get together, and there's food sitting all over the counter and you don't really even remember what all you ate, but my gosh, it tastes so good. You know why it did? Because it was prepped and ready in front of your face. So if you have children that are having these struggles, my recommendation to you, or if your family's not on board with what you're doing, my recommendation for you is to prep the food, set it on the counter, and I promise you it will start to be eaten. Even if somebody comes in and is like, oh my gosh, what kind of, like, what'd you swallow today? I mean, believe me, they've blamed me for every little crazy pill, you know, just wondering what crazy pill mom swallowed today. But it's good, they eat it. Same thing with cucumbers. If I don't wash them and prep them, they're not going to be eaten. It's going to turn to mush. So we have the ability to set our priorities and reduce the daily stressors by making grocery shopping a priority. Do you know what I have done? This is what I highly encourage you to do. So we have a local grocery store here. I know Kroger has one, Publix, Walmart, where you can online grocery shop. Okay, so I went in one weekend and I said, okay, if I wanted like a really good week of grocery supply, what would I buy? Okay, so I think I know exactly how much it is. It's a $347 grocery shopping spree. Okay, like, say we're coming in from vacation on a Sunday and I have not had time to grocery shop that weekend, I can go into my account. I go to that $347 grocery shopping trip that I did intentionally to hit reorder, right? Right? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about going into your account at Publix, Kroger, or Walmart and reordering that same grocery cart within 5 seconds? Okay, that is what I do. It does not bring a ton of wow, and let me tell you, it really does bring wow and variety to the house, because I made sure that that week was full of food that my family would eat. Because if I'm coming in, I'm low on time, I know it's full of fruits and vegetables and, you know, and some meat, which we normally get from our farmer and don't have to put in a grocery cart very often. But if there's some extra fish, it just has the essentials, guys. Okay, so you can do that. You can set up those habits and those priorities that are going to reduce your daily stress load. So you have time to focus on prepping that food. The other thing that I recommend is seeking support from friends and family. If your family within your house think you're absolutely crazy, then that's what this group is for. This group is people who really are all on the same page. We all may be in different parts of our journey, but we are eager to learn more. So you come in here and you share, and it's a judge-free zone, right? We are all there, and we're going to encourage you to continue to press forward. And we're going to encourage you to take that next step. So maybe it's not just food, but it's the toxic load of your home. It's the toxic load of your cleaning products. It's those fabric softener sheets. Maybe it's the, aerosol sprays in your bathroom and all that, the Glade plugins or, the poop sprays, whatever it is, perfumes and body sprays. We have to look at the overall toxicity of our home and what that is doing to our health. So we're going to encourage you to not only tackle this current problem, but to continue to press forward. All right. Share your experience and your challenge with others because we are here to support you. All right. So put down in the chat section, like, where are you right now and thinking through this journey? Where are you right now in feeling like I've got this, I can do this for the next 2 weeks, like I can have this challenge. So, and I want to reiterate, if you are having tons of reactions in your body and you've eliminated food and you're not seeing success in being able to bring back some smaller triggers, you, oh my goodness, have to get down to what the top culprits are. We also need to look at infection. We need to look at leaky gut. We need to look at hormones. We need to look at adrenals. You don't always have to add hormones and adrenals, but we always need to start with what is causing the immune system to be in this stage of overreaction. And I encourage you, I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, we've done a ton of testing. My family did a ton of testing. And I really do feel that is one of the most important tests. And then like I said, I add candida and yeast onto that so we can see exactly what's going on at the root. And then I can use your normal blood work to take us even beyond that. So if you don't want to do any further testing, we could start with normal blood work. We could start with that blood work and say, okay, is your body in an autoimmune flare? We wouldn't be able to necessarily tell which one. We could tell if the infection was viral. We could tell if it was bacterial, like what its underlying components were. Even some of the lab work can lead us down that road of saying, yes, there is leaky gut, there is a leaky gut potential here. So we could start there. Let me know where it is that you are eager to begin. If you've already started that journey, oh my goodness, like I'm just so in love with the process. We have been doing some amazing food reviews and hormone reviews with clients. And I know over this next week that some of your results are coming through, and we're going to just magnify. And I mean, I love that one point. It's almost like a gender reveal party for me, as we get to reveal what it is that are those crazy, crazy evil culprits, and we can remove those and heal your body. It just brings me so much joy and satisfaction. Okay, so put down in the comments, I'd love to see like the conversations around even ingredients. And I wanted to tell you something. I wanted to talk through ingredients. Somebody had posted, asked me a question about an electrolyte, because we had talked a lot about hydration, and they had talked to me about liquid IV. So to kind of wrap up today's conversation, I want to bring you some awareness around looking at those ingredients and looking at liquid IV. Let me pull up my screen. I had some ingredients here, and just want to show you. I thought I did. The thing with that is there's the first 4 ingredients are completely unhealthy, unnecessary, and unneeded for your body. I don't know. Tell you what, I'll just pull it up on my phone. Super easy. And those first 4 ingredients have nothing to do, like no service in your body at all. So we had talked about L and T and just wanting to compare those two. And then I also had someone message me and ask me to compare their dairy-free butter, and that dairy-free butter had some canola oil in it. And so we talked through that and the toxicity that that butter still had in their body. And guys, this is exactly what I mean when I say we have to navigate the ingredients. Don't just go by food labels. There are some labels that are okay, but there are some that are completely hidden. Like I know here in America, our government does not require the labeling of maltodextrin, and that has a ton of cross-reactive factors that you've got to be aware of and stay away from. So this thing is very hypersensitive when it comes to me clicking my finger. Okay, so liquid IV, look at this. All right, the first ingredient was pure cane sugar. What did we say yesterday about blood sugar balancing? All right, the second was dextrose. Nope. Citric acid. Nope. And then you get to salt. Okay, and the salt is the fourth ingredient, potassium, the fifth, and sodium, the sixth. After that, I'm like, what in the world are we even putting in our bodies? The vitamins that are listed there, yeah, let me give you a hint. They're all synthetic. They're not putting anything of value in those things. And, you know, so don't even get hung up with that. Like, if you want a good multivitamin, we got to take one. And then the sodium and the potassium also, like, there's just no guarantee to the value. You want to really look for value in what you're putting in your body, value in how you're spending your time, and value in how you're letting your mind and your daily processes create your habits. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that today. Thank you so much for those that are tuning in every single day, watching these videos, getting caught up in the evening, and then I will see you again tomorrow at 12 noon. See you there.